So this past Sunday, I rode my motorcycle up onto a third volcano. This was Mauna Loa. Haven't been up there yet. It's the largest on the island. It's still active. It's just not as tall as Mauna Kea. Turned onto this crazy road right across the saddle from Mauna Kea. Mauna Kea is on the right, and I'm turning towards Mauna Loa. Got to the end of the road and found this sign, turned around and saw these happy young people taking pictures out on the lava. I wound up talking to them, and they had a lot of interesting things to say. I hope you'll watch.
You gotta keep on riding.
Okay, well, danger zone. You got a nice thin piece of lava that's hollow right there. So
is there a name for this hollow space here?
Lava tube.
Tube?
I mean, it's not really a tube. It's more of a shelf right here. But this could all be a collapsed lava tube.
You're looking at something somewhere between this diameter and 3 inches.
Right there.
And that's not very stable.
And you guys could navigate it because you're 150 pounds and below. I'm 300 pounds.
It's also very important where you put your feet too.
Watching.
You mean don't back up?
Yeah, don't back up, don't go to the left.
What is the stuff that I'm missing that I need to know of? That's the common mistake of the people that move here make.
Great.
Yeah, so first thing that I would tell anyone who moves here is don't walk out on lava.
Because that's a
bad idea.
The reason why is because there's different kinds of lava, right? There's, you see this jagged stuff, right? This isn't is it? Is more kind of like what you see over there.
Yeah.
They're really
dense,
this
thick.
has more texture to it. The is more just like crumbly cinder, super sharp.
Got it.
Really sharp.
But circling back to Kapu, it's sacred.
Sacred.
Kapu is sacred.
I thought Kapu also meant no trespass.
It does, but it originates with sacred. So if it's sacred, then you shouldn't be trespassing.
I also heard it was forbidden.
It's
so here are the Kapu laws or whatever.
If it's sacred, then it's also no trespassing. It's also forbidden, and
So I see a lot of signs on old grave sites. Graveyards, looks like concrete thing, Kapu.
Sacred place.
So you can't visit your loved ones.
Well,
or tourists can't visit their loved ones because we know they don't have loved ones here.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a sacred place. If you don't have a reason to be there, you shouldn't be there.
Okay.
When I see a Kapu sign, it means be respectful.
Yeah.
See, I didn't get that interpretation. I just got forbidden. That's what my brother told me. Forbidden. Do not go past this sign. It's Kapu.
It's definitely part of it, but when we see the sign, the first thing we see is you be respectful, of course. And most of the time when you see a Kapu sign, it being respectful or staying out and that area being forbidden is being respectful. So it all comes hand in hand. I think almost like when you visit any other country, that's not the United States. You try your best to understand why they speak their language, why they do the things that they do, why they eat what they eat, why they talk to each other the way they talk to each other, and you try to understand it so that not only you don't embarrass yourself, but to be respectful to another country. I think when you come to Hawaii, everyone needs to have that same mindset. Like they're not just coming to another state in the US that's a travel destination that's beautiful and blah, blah, blah.
So you're saying don't confuse the islands with San Francisco or New Orleans or your ski resort or
treat it like it's a Polynesian island that's not a part of America. That the people that live here have been here for generations and generations and generations, and this is their land, and everything is sacred. And I think trying to understand that in any way that you can is a start. Never questioning it, never asking why, maybe asking why, but maybe just never questioning it, never disrespecting it, just learning about it.
Kind of like what I'm doing with you now.
Exactly.
I'm asking you questions and I'm trying to be as gentle and respectful as I can because I have a very tiny understanding of Kapu that you're helping me with.
Absolutely, definitely. I think that's a huge part. It's a step. He knows a lot more than I do. But.
Is there anything out there already to help people? Is there a resource where you can go, here's how not to get yourself in trouble as a tourist, or don't go beyond this point? Anything that's here's how not to get fed to the pigs if you visit the islands.
I think so. I think that you just have to be creative with how you search for it. So like for instance, Google, easily accessible. Instead of saying what not to do on the islands of Hawaii, search in how to be respectful to Hawaiian Islanders.
Okay.
How to be what not to do when visiting the islands of Hawaii, or how, things like that. Just be creative with your wording, and I think there'll be lots of different articles and things that personal people, Native Hawaiians that have written them themselves, that will tell you from their own personal experience what to do and what not to do.
The wildlife here, especially the native wildlife here, is extremely protected.
Mm-hmm.
Extremely.
So
Nenes.
Like the Hawaiian monk seal, the honus, the turtles. Yeah, I would say make some friends and let them know that you're interested in, respectfully witnessing all the beauties that Hawaii has.
And be totally honest. Tell them where you're from. Tell them who you are, and say, I want to learn more. I'm exploring this island and doing things, and seeing the beauties that this island has to offer. And I feel bad that I don't know more about it, and more about the culture, and more about what I should or shouldn't do. And
I know that there's anger and resentment for tourists here.
Absolutely.
And I want to educate tourists, if nothing else, but especially the people that are thinking about moving here. Apparently that's a thing.
7,000 people moved here the day that quarantine opened up. Because we're doing so well with the pandemic here. 7,000 people either rented an apartment or bought a house or changed their license, and now they're a resident of Hawaii.
So now they're flocking to the islands because it's a sterile environment.
Yep.
And you have all that sunshine that kills the bugs that do get through.
So
that's a fascinating insight. I try to watch, what's the YouTube channel? Hawaii Now.
Big Island Now, or Big Island News Now.
That's it.
Like
Big
that.
Island News Now.
That's
I try to catch something. So much of that stuff is city council stuff.
It is. It's all city council. My best advice to you is, before you try to educate tourists or anything like that, just make some friends.
Yeah.
Try your best, be open about where you're from and who you are.
Yep.
And just like you're doing with us.
Right.
Because him and I were talking about this the other day. Most locals don't have an issue with tourists or white people, because, we're obviously white.
I wasn't going to say anything because that would be generalizing.
We're white. I don't have any Hawaiian in me, even though I've had 6 generations here. I'm Portuguese. But yeah, so definitely, make some friends and just do exactly what you're doing, because it's not the white people, it's not the tourists, it's
the attitude.
Yeah.
It's all about the attitude.
So
you come in your nice 5.0 Mustang, and you're driving around with your top down, and you're throwing shakas here left and right, and you're aloha, aloha, mahalo.
I'm on top of the
everyone's
world.
gonna look at you like, what are you doing? What are you doing?
Seriously, the thing in Hawaii is, what I've noticed at least, is like, for instance, if there's construction on the side of the road and there's a guy that's sitting there and he's the one that turns the sign, stop or go slow, you drive by and you throw shaka. Or someone let's say you're at a yielded left turn and someone flashes your lights, tells you to go, you flash a shaka,
And that's cool.
That's cool.
Okay.
And it's, it's not like a stick your hand out the window and shake like this. It's just a little, and even just a wave. Even, if you don't even have to shaka, just a little wave.
Just an acknowledgement, really.
Yeah.
I think it's acknowledgement of aloha.
So, there's a lot of deaths from tourists in Hawaii.
The biggest cause is what?
Well,
or the top 5?
Top 5, right? So,
Stupidity.
rip currents.
Rip currents. Yeah, that's kind of
The water,
standard at
the-
any beach.
Well, especially over here.
We have some
There's
really
some
dangerous
really,
beaches.
really dangerous beaches and really hard to read beaches.
Like, name one on this side of the island.
Which side? We're in the middle.
Okay. Well, y'all are from my side,
I
right?
think the first
Puna
one.
side?
Yeah.
Yeah, so have you seen or heard of the Naked Beach, Kahena?
Yes, I've been on top of it.
So Kahena has a great riptide right out there,
Ah, okay.
right behind the break wall, and
Okay.
it sucks straight down the coast, down to South Point. And if you go out there on a rough day, you will get
They're
dragged.
gone. If you find a secret spot, or if you go to any four-wheel drive spot, someplace where you notice there's not a lot of tourists, someplace you notice it's a lot of locals, keep it to yourself.
Yeah, yeah.
Don't drop a geolink.
Don't drop a link. If you post a picture on Instagram or you post pictures of it, don't add the location. Don't,
If there's mud, nobody else needs to know about it.
yeah.
Okay.
Because I think locals have very few places to ourselves or to themselves
Yeah.
now. Very few spots, beaches, four-wheel drive spots. They're getting discovered by tourists, and these spots, sometimes they're sacred, sometimes they're private, and for locals.
Yeah, or
And
even just, family significance,
Exactly.
Right.
My great-grandfather took my grandfather, and my father took me to
Like
this spot.
the lighthouse, maybe? Is that a thing?
Yeah,
Yeah,
kind of like the
definitely.
lighthouse.
Definitely.
So yeah, this may be the most important thing you've told me so far.
I think so.
Be careful what I post.
Be careful what, if you take a picture, like for instance, if we go and take pictures at the lighthouse, we'll post them, but we're not gonna show the road, we're not gonna show the entrance, we're not gonna tag where it is, we're not gonna put Pahoa, we're not gonna put Big Island, we're not gonna put Black Sand Beach.
I've already made that mistake.
It's
Everyone does it.
everyone does it.
And until
Just-
someone tells you, it's hard to know not to do it.
And I think the biggest thing is, because we've lost so many beaches to tourism, and so now they're scattered with people. Not only, what comes with people is litter, trash,
Yeah.
and disrespect,
Right.
and I think
And
that's
people
the
getting
biggest
sucked
thing.
out into the ocean.
People
Yeah.
dying, of course. And so, if you find these spots, amazing, cherish them, take pictures, sit and bask in their beauty, but just keep it to yourself.
Riding, gotta keep on riding,